All right, man, peace. I had this link saved in my archives here, and I said, let me do a video about this because it can continue the series or that I started with the Maxine Waters issue when her and Bill O'Reilly were going back and forth. When Bill O'Reilly called her out for that Chewbacca wig that she had on, and I noticed a lot of times that a lot of modern day liberal black females, especially, as an attention grab, they like to promote this narrative that everybody touches their hair without their permission. I don't know. Look, I can only speak for myself. I can't remember ever seeing somebody touching a black female's hair without her permission. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm just saying I cannot recollect seeing that, right? And I can't recollect anybody touching my hair without my permission. But I also noticed that a lot of times the so-called black people that complain about non-blacks touching their hair is because they're always trying to hang around non-black people. It's funny how that happens. If you don't want a stranger touching your dog, then you don't bring your dog around strangers, right? So let's just analyze the words of this female here. This woman's name is Franchesca Ramsey. I know that she works with MTV, or she used to. I don't know if she's still there or not. But she's getting a lot of opportunities on the television circuit because she's a black liberal female. And let's see what type of delusional mentality she's putting out to the crowd. All right, so let's see what she has to say.
But almost anything in a black girl's body becomes extra and other. But that's, what I mean?
Yeah. That definitely is true. Everything in a black girl's body becomes extra and other. In the mind of the so-called black female or in the mind of everybody else. I don't think that anybody is as obsessed with the black female's body as she is with her own body. And I'm not going to say, look, we've had things, the other nations are obsessed with the black females, what's known as steatopygia. All right, which is a fancy way of saying the backside of the so-called black woman. Right. I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that there are issues with the black phenotype, the so-called black phenotype. That's historical. But I think that a lot of the issues that the black female talks about are things that she wants to maintain in order to continue to get attention, as opposed to trying to get attention in a positive way. The female liberal mindset, and like I said, this is not really the black female's fault. It's only her fault from the standpoint that she has decided to listen to the white liberal female and that feminism. Now they engage in attention grabs all the time. Everything is an attention grab. Look at the female that's next to this woman, Franchesca Ramsey. You would not even know that this woman was a so-called black woman unless she said it. All right. But I guess that's why she has the braids in her hair. But, maybe we should check her birth certificate, because she might just be another Rachel Dolezal, just a chick trying to act like she's black.
That's part of our history, right? We've always been seen as other. I mean, there were times where we were paraded around as if we were zoo animals for people to poke and prod at us. And even, through slavery, the act of looking at our bodies and otherizing us. And I think that a lot of these women, when they do this, and men as well, don't realize the historical context of our body.
Now, she said a lot of these women, when they do this, and men as well. So obviously, when Franchesca Ramsey is talking about people touching her hair, she's mostly talking about white women, so-called white women. So once again, in order for the so-called white woman to touch your hair, it has to be because you always are trying to be around white women. And if you go on YouTube, you can see she has videos. She had a video called "Things That White Girls Say," and you could tell that she most likely was schooled around. She probably went to a predominantly Caucasian school. And a lot of black people have these issues because their parents send them to these schools feeling like it's going to be a better educational experience for them. And what happens is a lot of these black people, so-called black people that go to these schools, they end up with a lot of bad self-image issues because they become the butt of jokes. They become like the speck of pepper amongst a bunch of salt. And they have a lot of issues into their adulthood because of what they've been subjected to in these schools that are predominantly Caucasian. And if I be a betting man, that's one of the issues that Franchesca Ramsey has.
bodies not being our own, and people reaching their hand out and touching us as if we are pets or as if we are an exhibit.
Right.
I would never reach out and touch a stranger because I realize that you have your own personal space and that is your space. We do not get afforded that same level of respect. And
I have to find out who she's hanging out with. Because in all my time, I've never had somebody grab my hair without my permission. I can't remember seeing anybody grab a so-called black female's hair without their permission that I was around, unless it was two black females fighting and they was trying to pull their weave out of each other's damn scalp. All right? So somebody, I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows? But I just don't think that the issue is as big as she's trying to make it out to be. I think that there are bigger issues for the so-called black man and black woman to handle than people trying to run their hands through your dreadlocks.
And it's not just our hair, right? It's in the way that the police deal with us. It's in, how sexual assault happens in our communities. And
I would like to know if she's ever been harassed by the police. That's what I would like to know. I think that a lot of things that a lot of the black liberals say on television is nothing but an attention grab. The police thing, the hair thing, that's a major black liberal black female attention grab. A lot of them have never had interactions with the police. All right?
At the bar and some dude grabs you. It's just like this idea that we are up for public consumption.
Well, when you go to a bar or a club and you're in an environment with people that are imbibing, meaning that they're drinking wine, liquor, or some other alcoholic beverage, I think that you would have to expect that, some people might come out of pocket. They might do things that are untoward. And that's probably why you shouldn't frequent those establishments if you're a female who wants to be treated in an upright manner. That's just my opinion. Like I can't go to a Klan rally and try to figure out how come I keep getting called nigger. You know what I'm saying?
In addition to our hair, and a lot of these white people that we're dealing with do not understand that it's not just about them. It's about the history of this happening to us, and it's about the history of it happening to us everywhere we go, all day long, and every.
Where is it that she's going? Now, this woman is from New York, if I remember correctly. Where is it that she's going where all day long people are trying to put their hands, run their hands through her dreadlocks, and she's getting harassed by the cops and getting her ass grabbed up in bars? Where is this happening? I guarantee you it's not happening. It's a mental projection from somebody who's looking for attention. All right? We have to move out of when I say we, I'm talking about the so-called black people who actually have a strong self-belief and self-esteem and self-image in themselves. Stop moving past all the attention mongering. All right? That's the black liberal mentality. The so-called black liberal mentality is basically, I'm going to talk bad about white people because I want them to give me a hug. All right? That's what all that is based in. And by the way, Franchesca Ramsey is married to a Caucasian man. All right? After she finishes talking all that long line of bullshit that she's talking, she goes home and a so-called white man runs his hands through her hair.
Facet of our lives.
What we're finding is that there's an abominable or an abysmal lack of history with whiteness with us, meaning we need to know about them in order to get through our lives and to be successful. They don't have to know anything about us to not only just thrive, but to really be super successful. So what we're at for us, it's different.
Yeah, that's called being in rulership. When you're in rulership, you don't study your slaves' history. You make them study your history. That's called having a ruling class mentality. That's what that is. It's not the so-called white man's job to make sure that his children are taught about so-called black history. Matter of fact, it's his job to erase as much black history as possible, which is what he's done. Or hide it. That's his job. It's not his job to sit his children up in a room and say, oh, well, you know what? Did you know that blacks used to control Europe during the medieval time period? Did you know that all of the emperors of Rome were so-called black from the mid-2nd century onward? Did you know that Aristotle, the teacher of Alexander the Great, was a so-called black man? That Alexander the Great's top general was a so-called black man? Did you know that the czars of Russia under the Rorik dynasty were so-called black men? All right, it's not his job to teach them that. It's our job to do that. But when so-called black people keep putting the so-called white man's education system on a pedestal, what you're teaching your children is that you should know the so-called white man's history. You can't blame him for what you're doing. You're doing that.
It means it's survival. Right. It's a survival tactic to learn how to code switch. It's a survival tactic to get your hair straightened, to get a weave, to, tone down.
That ain't no survival tactic. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's a survival tactic to get your hair straightened and to get a weave. That's nonsense. What that is that's an effect of, what I will say is that's an effect of constant visual propaganda, right? Certain what they call beauty standards. All right. Like I've stated in the past, the black female had her hair in an afro throughout the 60s and 70s. She decided to follow behind Diana Ross and a lot of the other cokehead disco queens of the late 70s and start getting weaves in her damn hair and following behind the so-called white woman's feminist movement. All right. Like I said, Michelle Wallace, MK Ultra victim, followed behind Gloria Steinem. All right. CIA operative Gloria Steinem. All right. Yeah. People like Oprah Winfrey, whose main job has been to glorify the Caucasian on television. All right. Oprah Winfrey, MK Ultra, monarch child.
Down your nails, to tone down your makeup, to tone down your jewelry in order to be, accepted in white spaces. Like that is what we have always had to do in order to be. It's like learning another language.
Right. So that's basically it on that. A lot of these self-image issues are mental projections. And this is why I say it's really incumbent upon the so-called black man. You have to make sure that you are very, very careful who you're procreating with. All right. A lot of you brothers are running out here. You skeeting up in these broads after a couple of months. And then you acting surprised when she changes. She didn't change. She just is allowed to let her out who her real self is now because she has you. All right. In America, in this society, the black male is taught that the female is the prize. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. A good woman is a prize, but the man is always going to be the highest prize because the man is the one who has the seed. All right. The seed or the rod between the man's legs is the scepter. That's the rulership. All right. Even if you look in the Hebrew, the term for scepter is equivalent to the term for your rod. All right. These are things that a lot of men don't understand. The so-called black man doesn't understand it. And that's why I come so hard against that black woman is God nonsense. All right. The woman was set up to be as a gift for the man. The woman is a gift to you. She's not your God. All right. If you leave it up to the so-called black woman, she's going to follow behind whoever's in power. That's the nature of the woman. That's why they sit on TV and they're always confused. They're always confused. And you guys following behind a so-called black woman, you're as confused as them, if not more. You're even worse than them because you actually are supposed to have answers. At least they're not supposed to have any damn answers. All right. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this out. Because once again, you can look up this woman, Franchesca Ramsey. She's married to a Caucasian man. She's married to a Caucasian man that looks like a transgender. But yet she's on TV talking about people running their fingers through her damn hair. Now, who the hell can run their fingers through that anyway? Look like a damn wasp's nest. But anyway, peace.